Imagine waking up one morning, stepping outside your cave, and realizing you're already late for a mammoth hunt. Your hair's a mess, your stone tools are missing, and your neighbor's trying to invent fire, again, and almost burns the whole valley down. Welcome to the world of the Neanderthals, humanity's tough, clever, and slightly clumsy cousins who roamed the earth long before GPS, coffee, or even decent Wi-Fi. They survived ice ages, saber-toothed cats, and the occasional bad idea, all while unknowingly setting the stage for the most complicated species to ever exist, us. But who exactly were they, and why does half your DNA still throw a party when you see a big pile of rocks? Let's find out. Once upon a time, way before TikTok, way before pizza, way before even regular socks, there were the Neanderthals. They didn't have fancy houses or sports cars, but they did have big brains, strong muscles, and a pretty good idea of how to smash things with rocks. They hunted giant animals, made fires without lighters, and somehow survived winters that would make your toes fall off. Sure, they didn't invent the wheel, but give them some credit. They were busy not getting eaten by giant bears. Today, we're going to travel back thousands of years to meet these tough, clever, and slightly wild humans who were a lot more like us than you might think. Neanderthals were not some weird cavemen who grunted all day and hit each other with sticks. Okay, maybe sometimes, but they were actually a smart and strong kind of human. They lived in Europe and parts of Asia a really, really long time ago. Like so long ago that even your oldest relative would seem like a newborn next to them. Neanderthals were shorter and stockier than us, built like tanks to survive freezing cold weather. They knew how to make fire, craft tools, and even take care of each other when someone got hurt. Basically, they were tough, smart, and way cooler than those silly cartoons made them look. If you ever get cold just stepping outside in winter, just remember, a Neanderthal would laugh at you while building a house out of bones. If you think your mornings are tough, imagine being a Neanderthal. You wake up on a cold, rocky floor, no mattress, no coffee. Just a bunch of grumpy family members and maybe a saber-toothed cat staring at you. Breakfast? If you're lucky, it's leftovers from last night's mammoth. If not, it's time to grab your pointy stick and go hunting. Neanderthal life was all about survival. Hunting big animals, gathering plants, making tools, and trying not to freeze to death. But it wasn't all work. They also made jewelry out of shells, painted caves, and probably told stories around the fire. Hopefully better ones than your uncle's long, boring fishing stories. Life was rough, but the Neanderthals knew how to make the best of a bad situation, and they didn't even have memes to laugh at. Neanderthal families were pretty close, mostly because if you wandered too far, something huge with teeth would probably eat you. They lived in small groups, kind of like one big, muddy, slightly smelly family reunion that never ended. They took care of their sick and old, shared food, and probably argued over who got the best spot by the fire. As for love, well, let's just say romance back then wasn't about flowers and sweet texts. If you liked someone, you probably showed off your hunting skills or gave them a shiny rock. Very smooth. And believe it or not, Neanderthals and early humans even fell in love sometimes, which is why today, if you're feeling a little stubborn or wild, you might just be channeling your inner Neanderthal. You might think Neanderthals are just old news, like floppy disks or landline phones, but guess what? They're still part of your story. Scientists have found that many people today have a little bit of Neanderthal DNA hiding inside them, like a secret club you didn't even know you joined. Some of that DNA might affect how you sleep, how you fight off sickness, or even how you react to the cold, so you can blame them next time you forget your jacket. Plus, studying Neanderthals helps us understand how humans survived, adapted, and became the complicated, coffee-drinking creatures we are now. So the next time you trip over nothing or eat way too much at dinner, just smile. Somewhere deep inside, a little Neanderthal is cheering you on. What happened to the Neanderthals? One day, the Neanderthals were out there hunting, making fires and living their best cave life, and then, little by little, they were gone. What happened? Well, nobody knows for sure, but there are a few good guesses. Maybe the weather got crazy cold, and even their strong bodies couldn't keep up. Maybe modern humans showed up with better tools, better teamwork, and way too much energy. Or maybe they just got tired of all the mammoth chasing and decided it was time for a long, long nap. The truth is, they didn't totally disappear because most of us today still carry a tiny bit of Neanderthal DNA. So next time you forget where you put your keys or get the sudden urge to smash something, don't worry. It's just your ancient cousin saying hello. What we can learn from Neanderthals, you might think there's not much to learn from a bunch of ancient cave people. But the Neanderthals actually have a lot to teach us. First, they knew how to survive tough times. Ice ages, wild animals, bad hair days, and they still kept going. They worked together, shared food, took care of each other, and even found time to make art and jewelry. Basically, they remind us that being human isn't just about fancy gadgets or fast Wi-Fi. It's about helping your group, being creative, and never giving up, even when you really, really want to take a nap. So maybe the next time life feels hard, just channel your inner Neanderthal. Grab a snack, stick with your people, and keep moving forward, preferably without needing to wrestle a mammoth. Before we end, let's hit you with some fun facts because Neanderthals were way cooler than they get credit for. First, they were actually good at art. Some of the oldest cave paintings found might have been made by Neanderthals. Take that, modern artists. Second, they invented glue, yes, real glue, by heating tree sap to stick their tools together. Pretty impressive for people who didn't even have microwaves. Third, they had bigger brains than us. That's right, their brains were larger, which just proves size isn't everything when it comes to surviving history tests. Oh, and they probably had high-pitched voices too, so if you imagine a Neanderthal sounding like a grumpy grandpa, think again, they might have sounded more like a squeaky cartoon character trying to order a mammoth burger. Let's face it, Neanderthals were like the original Survivor contestants, and they definitely played the game better than most of us could. They survived extreme cold, hunted massive creatures, and managed to keep their families alive in conditions that would make your backyard barbecue seem like a vacation. They didn't have cell phones to call for help, no fancy gym memberships to stay in shape, and definitely no Amazon Prime for quick fixes. They lived off their wits, their muscles, and probably a little bit of luck. And while they may not have invented the modern world or figured out how to stop the woolly mammoths from being, a little too wild, they definitely showed us that with the right tools and a strong sense of community, you can face anything the world throws at you. So, let's give a little applause to our ancient cousins, the Neanderthals, for being the true ultimate survivors. And there you have it, the Neanderthals, tough, smart, and oddly relatable. Sure, they didn't invent the internet or Instagram selfies, but they figured out how to survive in some seriously harsh conditions. And for that, they deserve a little more credit. So next time you're feeling lazy or find yourself struggling to get out of bed, just remember, if the Neanderthals could survive freezing winters and giant animals with nothing but rocks and sticks, you can handle a little Monday morning. Thanks for hanging out with me through time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Preferably not while throwing rocks, though. See you in the next video where we'll probably be talking about another ancient mystery or, trying to figure out why your Wi-Fi is still down.